Now, having citric acid on hand is a very good idea, because this is wonderful for cleaning your pumps and so forth if you get calcium buildup. The other thing you could think about doing is putting in more marine pure. So there's sort of plenty here, but it never hurts to have more. If you filled up that, you could put another few litres in, or you could put some marine pure blocks in here. So it is not urgent and it is not totally necessary, but it's definitely a point. If you did want to increase your biological capacity, you've got heaps of room and you could fit more media. Now, particularly because of all the crap that has been released by me removing the fake plants and rocks, I'm going to replace the carbon, because the carbon is going to be wonderful for polishing the water. Whenever you're doing anything major to the tank, replacing the carbon is always a good thing. And the carbon is really the thing that's going to help keep your water nice and crystal clear. But you've got to be aware that carbon should only be in for sort of about maybe 8 weeks. Otherwise, what happens is the carbon is going to remove all toxins and stuff from the water and then actually start to release them again once it gets really old. So you do want to be replacing this carbon at least every couple of months. Because I get in and disturb the aquarium, it is very common that when I leave, the tank looks much worse than when I got here. And I'd say that this one is going to be an absolute example of that, because this tank looked very good and was in very good condition. But then I've gone and pulled all of the stuff out of the back, which in the long run is wonderful, but it's definitely a step backwards to get us a step forward. So I'm very worried about changing too much water at a time. I'd rather come back and do it again before I'd rather change too much at once. So to get rid of all of this sediment, we've got two options. One is we just siphon it out, which obviously I'm not prepared to do because of the amount of water we've already changed. Otherwise, the other option is we could get an actual fine net, and then a fine net would help to scoop a lot of this stuff out. But I'm very conscious of not doing too much at once. It's better to do some, then come back and do more than do too much at once, because that can shock the fish. Especially seeing the temperature is on the high side, it's not something I really want to do. So I found a magnet cleaner, which is a wonderful thing to have. But with these sorts of magnet cleaners, very, very convenient. But make sure it doesn't go near the gravel and get gravel caught underneath it. Otherwise, next thing you know, you can scratch your glass. The flippers are good because they won't do that. They won't get sand under them or scratch the glass. These ones are great, but don't let sand get under them. Having the right tools makes your job easy, and these Seachem razor blade units I find are very, very good. They really get that stubborn algae off very easily. I'm a big fan of this tool. Now, I'm a big fan of this stuff. It's called Easy Life. Easy Life basically is a blend of minerals that helps to hold in solution what should be in solution and drop out of solution what shouldn't be in solution. And it also is the only product I know of that has what's called a type positive charge. So it makes it much harder for type negative bacteria and stuff to grow. So when I tip it in, I give it a good shake. I tip it in, and then it should make the water cloudy, and then it will bond stuff out of the water and then clear the water absolutely crystal clear. Just adding it every now and then is very good for your tank and very good for the fish. Now, having hose clamps around is a very handy thing for allowing you to work while you're refilling your tank. And when you're refilling an aquarium, especially a big one like this, what you want to do is add water ager for the volume of the whole tank every 5 centimeters. So we go up 5 centimeters, we add water ager for the full tank. Go up 5 centimeters, add water ager for the full tank, because what we don't want to do is allow too much chlorine to get into this aquarium, and the concentration of the chlorine increase to the point that it can kill off our good bacteria and potentially harm our fish. Hey, Mr. Snail. Now, I want to see these absolutely beautiful big goldfish lose some weight. So I definitely want to see the food reduced, and I want to see this one maximum sort of fatness. I need this guy to lose some weight. It's way, way, way too obese. BBF, big beautiful fish. So snails are very cool. I love them. They're very interesting little animals that get around in your tank. But it's not something that you can guarantee is going to work, because sometimes the goldfish will harass them. In this case, they seem to be okay. I think it's well worth trying, but very hard to promise whether it's going to work or not. But I'm a big fan of goldfish, and I'm a big fan of mystery snails. I think they're awesome. Now I've put the poly filter there, and over time the poly filter is eventually going to go black. Once the poly filter goes black, then I want it to be thrown away and you can consider replacing it. But this time I deemed it particularly important to put the poly filter there, considering that when I pulled the plants out I did get a smell of hydrogen sulfide, and I do not want to take any risks with such big, beautiful, unreplaceable goldfish. It's actually very rare to see such an architecturally perfect aquarium. It's very uncommon that you see such a perfect job. And these sliding lids, absolutely fabulous. They just make your life so much easier. That's the quality that we often just can't buy. Now I'm going to suggest this job is not finished. This job is a work in progress. I don't want to do any more right now because I do not want to shock the fish, but it's going to take some extra siphons, moving the rocks around, siphoning all of this dirt out, and I do not want to do too much at once, and I do not want to shock the fish. The way this tank has been maintained is impeccable. It is very rare that I come across a tank so well maintained. Now obviously when I've moved the rocks I have found lots of dirt, so that's something that we're managing now. But other than that, this is one hell of a pimped up goldfish tank. It's pretty rare to see a situation like this. This is sort of worthy of a saltwater tank. So these are very, very lucky goldfish. Probably the biggest goldfish I've ever seen too. In real life they are monsters with their beautiful big tails.